anarchy, which apparently is the thing that Greg Abbott wants to see in Texas when you wink, wink, nod, nod to this kind of thing. Welcome to Racist of the Week, where we expose the stupidity and hypocrisy of discrimination in hopes we can build a more perfect union. And also laugh. As usual, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Racism. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the page, and definitely leave me any possible suggestions for nominees in the comments. Oh, him? Don't worry about him. He needed to see this and exactly what his state has become. Today, we have two nominees, starting with Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Now, so many of you guys recommended Greg Abbott for Racist of the Week. I feel like I should probably name the award after him for at least a month or so, maybe beyond that. But this month, the Texas Parole Board unanimously recommended the pardon and release of Daniel Perry, a former U.S. Army sergeant convicted of killing Garrett Foster, a white man attending a Black Lives Matter protest with his black fiancee. Now, Perry was working as an Uber driver in July 2020, shot Foster, and was subsequently convicted and sentenced to 25 years in prison. Almost a year after his sentencing, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who you may know from such highs as praising the cops in Uvalde, granted Perry a pardon and restored his firearm rights and released him from prison. That's right. 1 year later, the man gets released from prison and also got his firearm rights restored. They didn't even see fit to think, you know what, maybe we shouldn't have this man just roaming around with a gun after what just occurred. I mean, did you just drop him off at a gun store? Or better yet, you just handed him back the evidence that you confiscated when you prosecuted him in the first place. Have a good day. Now, the pardon sends a troubling message. Politically motivated killings may be acceptable, and politicians prioritizing political pressure over public safety. Perry claims self-defense, but his actions and prior statements cast doubt on this justification. Now this is a moment in Law and Order where the attorneys are looking for something that could possibly give them some insight into his motive. It could go either way with the jury. If only we had something that would tell us that this was intentional. If only we had something that would put us in his mind at the time. Oh, wait, during Perry's trial, it emerged that in the weeks before the incident, he had shared white supremacist memes and talked about how he, quote, might have to kill a few people who were demonstrating outside his house in 2020. There it is right there. Oh, man, that's not it. There's more? Oh, there's more. He also compared Black Lives Matter movement to, quote, a zoo full of monkeys that are freaking out, flinging their shit. And days into nationwide protests sparked by George Floyd, Perry sent a text message saying, I might go to Dallas to shoot looters. The man said, I might have to go to Dallas and shoot looters. And that's who you pardoned? On the day of the incident, Perry drove into a crowd of predominantly black protesters, ran a red light, and shot Foster, who was legally carrying a firearm but hadn't threatened Perry, according to eyewitnesses. Well, that is pretty heavy-handed, I would say, even for a Law and Order episode. Like, one of those things would have been enough to convict. But all of those things, they're just getting lazy at Law and Order. They are just getting, that's too much evidence. That is too much evidence. I mean, of course you're going to convict. And they did. Yet Governor Greg Abbott, under political pressure from conservative media and political figures, directed the parole board to review Perry's case shortly after his conviction, leading to the pardon. So we have cliques driving content driving policy. We have people that are looking to say the most incendiary things possible to garner attention for their particular cause, being the ones that are pressuring people that are actually affecting people's lives and changing policy, even the justice system. Why not just let the people vote? I mean, really, why not just let the people vote? Why have it be so indirect as go through all the trouble of having a trial, and then it depends on how my people react to it and my constituency react to it. Well, they're upset. Well, now I got to do. Why not just let them vote? Why not just let them vote? There's no reason to have a trial because you clearly disrespected everybody who sat on that jury. But then again, Greg Abbott didn't see fit to pardon Crystal Mason, who got the 5-year sentence for voting illegally, despite it being a provisional ballot. And there was substantial pressure and attention given to that injustice. So let me see, you got pressure here and you got pressure here. So really, it's not about the pressure, it's about the direction of the pressure. I think I got it. So some pressure you listen to and some pressure you don't. I think I understand. So Abbott's decision reflects the influence of wealthy gun lobbyists and the state's permissive self-defense and open carry laws. Foster's death exemplifies the deadly consequences of those very laws themselves. Even Texas police recognize the dangers of open carry laws, as noted by Ray Hunt, executive director of the Houston Police Officers Union. Despite this, Abbott used the pardon announcement to reaffirm Texas's strong stand your ground laws and signaling support for armed right-wingers to act violently without fear of legal consequences. That exactly is the message that he is sending. Wink, wink, nod, nod, I got your back. And Greg Abbott, exactly how does that go? Go ahead and play the tape through. So exactly how was that go? Just armed conflict in the streets? The very thing that you point to when you talk about all these liberal cities burning, where all the people who influenced you, all of these right-wing talking heads who influence you love to pick out content of just anarchy, which apparently is the thing that Greg Abbott wants to see in Texas when you wink, wink, nod, nod to this kind of thing. Very well done. Now, Greg Abbott has absolutely earned the right to be Racist of the Week all by himself. He 1,000% has earned it. Me giving away 2 does in no way lessen the despicable attitudes exhibited by both of these two. So I don't want Greg Abbott to feel bad that I'm giving away another Racist of the Week. You are a very deserving Racist of the Week, sir. You are as racist as we have had honored in this here space. However, our second nominee, because this cannot go ignored, the Shenandoah County, Virginia School Board. So earlier this month, a Virginia school district voted to reverse a 2020 decision and restore the names of Confederate military officers to 2 schools. The Shenandoah County School Board decided to rename Honey Run Elementary and Mountain View High back to Ashby-Lee Elementary and Stonewall Jackson High, respectively. Now, if you had never changed it in the first place, the argument was that we are preserving our heritage, we're preserving our history. But how does this look in the light of day that you changed it back? Exactly what case are you leaving the racists of the future? We don't want kids to feel bad, so that's why we took it down. Well, why did you put it back? We decided we didn't care. Yeah, we just decided that we didn't care. So we put Stonewall Jackson back up there. That's what happened. These schools were originally renamed in 2020 amid the national protests. You guys remember, the protests sparked a reevaluation of racial discrimination and the veneration of Confederate figures who fought to preserve slavery during the Civil War. In 2020, the school board voted 5-1 to remove the names of Captain Turner Ashby, Lieutenant General Thomas Jonathan Stonewall Jackson, and General Robert E. Lee from the schools. However, this being Virginia and all, there was significant backlash from county residents. A motion to reverse the name changes failed in 2022 due to a tie, and recently the Coalition for Better Schools, a local group opposing the name changes, argued that the majority of the district supported restoring their original names. And you have to love the Coalition for Better Schools making it their mission to return the name of Confederate officers to a school. Thanks for making the school. Thanks for making the school better. That is well done. Well done, Coalition. And exactly how does that look that you decided to change it in 2020 and then here it is 4 years later and you decide to change it back? Because if I was a cynical person in 2020, I would have said, you know what? They don't mean none of this. They don't mean none of this. You put the black square on Instagram. This is all performance. None of this is really meaningful. And here you are. You took all of 4 years later and you already changed it back. You sure it's no other Confederate officers that you feel like you want to honor? I mean, go ahead and change all the black people whose names are on schools to Confederate officers. That is, if you have any. Now, the group contended that the legacy of Stonewall Jackson is an important part of local history and that the community values and historical connections to Turner Ashby and Robert E. Lee. What are those community values? I would love to know. What exactly are those community values? Fighting for slavery? Is that the value? I'm just trying to figure out what the values are. You know what I mean? Since we are so invested in Stonewall Jackson and Turner Ashby. And let's also take it out of the context of the Civil War. Let's say he was engaged in some other activity in his personal life. And it is extremely hard to find something comparable to fighting to preserve slavery. It's really hard for me to come off the top of my head with something that's comparable. But let's just say he was engaged in some other activity in his personal life. He was extremely violent and had treated people the way that people had been treated at that time. My people. Would that be something that you would still put him up? Like, let's say it wasn't black people. Let's say it was just a group of white people that they were trying to keep in bondage. Let's say he just had some white people out back that he was enslaving and was fighting to keep enslaved. Would you keep his name up then? Would you keep his name up then? Oh, but cause it's us. It's fine, right? Yeah, I get it. Shenandoah County's decision reflects a broader national debate about the place of historical figures who fought for the Confederacy and preservation of slavery. In 2020, a statue of Robert E. Lee was removed from the Virginia state legislature after unanimous vote. And at the time, Virginia's then governor, Ralph Northam, stated that the Confederacy symbolizes Virginia's racist and divisive history. Of course, following those protests in 2020, right-wing politicians have increasingly targeted movements promoting diversity and inclusion. Several states have passed laws threatening schools that teach about racial inclusion, accusing such curriculums of being anti-white. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin has supported efforts to eliminate diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, calling them divisive and racist. And this just provides another head on the mantle where you can say you own the libs. That's right. I don't care how backwards we are moving. Now, I don't care how backwards we are moving. We own the libs. Now, I don't care what it teaches the kids. I care that we own the libs, and I could post on True Social and feel good about myself. Why is it that when we are preserving our heritage, it is just the Confederacy and honoring those who fought to preserve slavery? Why is it just those? I mean, you don't preserve your heritage. Yeah, when I get wounded, I just grab a filthy rag and put it on it and hope gangrene doesn't set in which case I just have to cut it off. And in some cases I go to leeches. Yeah, I do leeches. Oh, how are you going to get down to the county? I take the railway. Yeah, I don't do cars. I'm preserving my heritage. So I take the railway. And if I'm going long distance, we do hot air balloon. That's what we do. Why don't you keep, if we preserving heritage, it's funny. I'm preserving my heritage. This is part of American history. But only this is the thing that you feel the need to preserve. Don't act slick. And by the way, I also think it's hilarious that it is anti-white to hold the Confederacy accountable. That's anti-white. It is anti-white to hold the Confederacy accountable. I understand. So you can actively plot against the government, which is, by the way, the thing that they deny happened on January 6th, right? We can't get as far away from that as we possibly can. No, this wasn't anybody trying to take over the government. Well, we know the Confederacy was trying to take over the government. Let's put their name on a school. Yeah, let us do that. It's okay to be actively anti-black, but if you pose it, it's anti-white. Got it. I actually already deconstructed this entire argument right here. But congratulations to Texas Governor Greg Abbott and the Shenandoah County, Virginia School Board. You are our Racists of the Week. As always, if you have somebody you would like to nominate, go ahead and leave it in the comments, or you can email me at reese.waters@gmail.com, and be sure to subscribe to the page to make sure you get notified when the next video drops.